Hello Kawhi, sorry I noticed that notification is the wrong spot, but I did see it, so it seems to be working. Let's hope it keeps up. Let me switch. I think it should be ready now. Just give it. Okay, let's give it a second. Did it show the right thing? It should have. Why is it not? Why is it not showing the host? Why does this never want to work? Let's pull it out. Every time I have to change from one game to another, I have to go through this whole process. Let's put that there, and then we put that there, and we make this small. And now the question is, does it? It's not working with the. Let's test that again. So the notification worked, but why is the this thing should be showing it's not showing the latest event there. Is one of nope, that's not right. I'm assuming you're seeing a white box there as well now. Instead of the correct thing. Yeah, I'm getting so fed up with these things. Every time I start streaming, a different part doesn't work. Let's just switch to the different screen and back and see if it fixes it. Nope. To me, right below here, there's a white box. Instead of, it's supposed to say, why are you hosted with one viewer? And if I toggle it, so to make it not show, it goes away. Yeah, it's supposed to say there what the last event was. And it just doesn't, it just goes white like the other thing used to do. Let's do this. And go... okay. I'm not gonna bother with it, I'm just gonna hide it. Yeah, normally the thing over that side, sorry, my camera's reversed. The thing over there shows a white box. Now that one worked, but this one didn't. This one didn't work, so I'm gonna just turn it off so there isn't a big white thing there. Okay, oops. Let's give it a go. So I logged a bug about that taming thing that possibly isn't working. I'm not 100% sure what the intended behavior is, so I don't know if it's working or broken. So I just explained to them what it's doing, saying that I don't think that's correct, but it's up to them to decide. And then I linked them to the video so they can see what it looks like. And then I started to get back some of the skill I lost, because I lost quite a lot. And I'm doing okay. I'm at like almost, I think, 56 skill in animal taming, and I've only gotten my LoA back up to about 42 or 43. But I've gotten it back to the point where I can control the animals, so that's good. Okay. This is definitely too loud. Sorry, all the levels are going to be out now because different mic, different placing, and also the mixing between it's going to be out. So I'm doing good. I actually forgot about it last night, and I said, like, I even still say that, you know, sometimes I have meetings and I can't stream, and I actually had a meeting tonight that I forgot about. So I just got back from that. I got back between 9:30 and 10, so that's why I had to start a little bit later. But I made it in time to actually be able to stream, so I figured I'll start a little bit later, but I can still fit it in. And then my mic stand arrived today, so I wanted to test that as well. So you can maybe see it like right just in the corner. I had to get like this boom mic stand because this thing has a special attachment. It's not a normal mic thing, so I can't just use a normal mic stand, and the stand that they give you is like this tall, and if I put it next to my keyboard, it doesn't pick up any of my voice, and it just picks up me pressing all the keys. So I don't know, I'm putting it here, hopefully it'll stay where it is, and hopefully it'll pick up enough of my voice. On the levels it looks like it is, so I'm assuming it's good. I just have to hope that I don't like knock it the whole time now, but it's kind of out of the way, so I think it should be okay. Let me just, I don't know if this needs to go up or down, I guess like there. What I need to do is I need to get different headphones because these hurt my ears after like 2 or 3 hours. So I want to preferably not use these headphones. I had to use them because of the mic, but now that I've got this mic, I want to use different headphones. But just my normal earpods that I like to use because I can wear them for 6 hours, no problem. They don't work in the mic adapter on my computer. Like when I plug them in, I don't get stereo properly. So I have another set of headphones that I can use, but they're at work, and I haven't been to work in like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. So the next time I go in, I'll fetch them and try to use those. I don't like them as much because they're wireless, so I keep having to charge them. But they fit more comfortably, so at the end of the day, that's kind of the more important thing. So I do want to carry on taming. The main thing that I wanted to do here is I didn't craft the arrows last time, which is the thing that the other character needs. So what I'll do is I want to just check, because I haven't been crafting for a while, and the main thing holding my crafter up is craft orders, which are time-based. So like you have to wait to get new craft orders. So I figure what I need to do is just check the craft orders, like whenever I'm playing, just check the craft orders first and then do whatever I want to do afterwards. Even if I don't do the crafting, I just need to accumulate the craft orders so that I have them for when I do want to do a crafting session, that I have things to craft. So now I'm not going to do what I normally do, and so normally I go to this town and then I go to 2 other towns and I gather things along the way, and I pick up the 3 whatever crafting orders they have at those 3 towns. But I don't want to spend that much time. I'm just gonna go into town, check what crafting orders there are, get them if they have any, and maybe craft some arrows that I can just pass on to the ranger. But I don't even think I'm gonna go collect the arrows with the ranger because I'm not really using them too much since I'm taming, and I'm trying to use the bears to do most of the work, just because it makes it cheaper. Healing bears just cost bandages, which I have plenty of, whereas using my arrows, you know, costs money to replace them. So I might as well start down here because it's the closest. I'm actually going to change the music to, I don't know what this is, like Hype Station or something. Let's go for something like a little bit more. Let's do synthwave. We'll see what synthwave is like for a bit, and if it gets too uppity, we'll switch it to chill or ambient. Oh, and I figured out, so I had a look how to get redemptions of things in the extension at the, I guess it's that side. So, and I found it. Like, I knew there was a setting somewhere. I was just trying to figure out how I got to it, and it's like a very convoluted way to get to it. You have to go to like the website instead of the app, and then click a link on a special page that then takes you there, and then you can add things there. Short bow, nope. And there it has some predefined ones like the Twitter follow and all that stuff. But it has the ability to add more there, so what I'll do is I'll take all the rewards from the that the chatbot has, and I'll add them in there as well, so that it's easier for people to find, because there isn't really a, well, I don't know, there's probably commands that'll tell you what all the things are that you can get, but I don't know that I saw that. So like if I go redeem, it says use redeem item, right? But then, okay, what are the items? Like, I don't know. So that's really the problem, because people don't know what the items are. So then I have to have a panel to say what you can redeem and all that stuff. So I'll probably do that eventually. I'll add a panel and add the stuff in there as well, so people know for chat, especially because the overlay isn't on the other platforms. So you know, they'll need a indicator to get those things. But the description in, like, for example, Mixer isn't great, and in YouTube also, like, you have to add the description for every video. Cloth, linen, helm. If that's what I'm crafting, right? Cloth and helm. Yes. So that's this one. Crates. Good. That's actually what I was looking for. Is the ones for the cloth. And it's just the more things I set up, the more things I find that I have to do. So like, this chat overlay that I'm using, I prefer the way it looks to how the other one I was using looked, even though I kind of could customize the other one. The other one had a nice thing where it would... No, nothing I need. How many? 85 wood? Yeah, let's just craft this, and then we'll make some arrows with this wood, and then we'll send it. So that one ignores bot commands. So if I type like exclamation mark something, it won't show that, and also whatever the bot says, it also won't show. So you don't get so much noise in the chat or in the overlay. So I like that, but this one doesn't do it. So I'll have to do something about that. Oh, the losing streak continues. At least you're gaining points overall, because you're over 3,000 again. Let's make the boards. and then from the boards we'll make the we'll make arrows and we'll drop those down. So that's one of the things I need to do. I also have like what was there? There was another thing that was an issue. Oh, there's so many things like that I have to look at. I guess I want to eventually just write my own bot that'll do all the things that I need, but right now the Streamlabs bot has like quite a lot of things built into it, and so if I write my own, I'll have to re-implement a lot of that stuff to have it, or I have to just let it go. But there's a couple of things that I can still add to the current bot. So like commands that play sounds and things like that. And normally you'd have a separate extension on Twitch to add that in. But I don't really want to switch. I don't want to sacrifice having the Streamlabs one. So arrows, we'll just make the normal arrows. I think 17 times 20 is 340. 340 should be good. It's actually so much faster to buy them that it's almost worth it to just buy it. And I mean the main advantage is if I have my own bot, I can add custom behavior in for like, you know, games that I'm playing or whatever. Because the main thing right now is with extensions and stuff. So like the HCMC 100 extension is great because it like shows the overlay and you can check it and you can see the last death and you can see the progress and so on. But every time I switch from playing Minecraft to Legends of Aria or Borderlands or whatever, I have to go into Twitch and swap all the extensions around and things like that. So that's quite a process. I mean, that's most of what when I go live and that starting stream thing is up for like somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. That's me tweeting out that the stream's starting, me opening the cross-platform chat so that I can see all the chat things, posting in Discords that I'm going live, and then changing the extensions and stuff on Twitch, and then also the thing that I use to stream changes the game, but it doesn't change all the tags. And I like to have the tags map up to what I'm doing. So if I'm doing HCMC 100, I tag the stream as challenge run 100%, hard mode, you know, all that stuff. So that if people go into Minecraft and they filter by 100% or they filter by hard mode or whatever, you know, that they find my stream more easily. So it's definitely worthwhile to do it. I mean, obviously I don't know how many people find my stream because of that or not, but I feel it's important. And the problem is I can only do that in Twitch, right? Mixer doesn't have it, YouTube doesn't have it, none of the other things have it. So really only you get the value from doing it on Twitch, and it becomes quite complicated to go through the process of working through the restream provider and Streamlabs and everything. I can definitely see the appeal of just streaming on Twitch, because then you don't have to do all the stuff. You just do it in Twitch, and you just use the dashboard that they give you, and that's probably good enough. So I'm definitely tempted to drop the other platforms and stick to Twitch. YouTube isn't too much of an issue. Like, YouTube is kind of a no-brainer because I get almost no viewers on YouTube. The main advantage to having YouTube is the streams last for longer than other platforms. So that's convenient. But on the other side, streaming to YouTube can cause problems with copyright claims. So like, I can only play like the same pretzel music over and over because it's, you know, I pay for it, so there's no copyright infringement, and my VODs won't get muted. So I'm just checking now. I'm putting this inside this container. This container is secure, and it's inside the house, so nobody should be able to access it. It's not really possible to test it unless I watch somebody else try and get in there, but I guess we'll leave it there for a while and see if anybody takes it. We won't know that they can't if they don't, but we will know that they can if they do. Okay, so let's just before we get into it, so you can see animal taming is at like 56.6. So when we ended the last stream, we were at about 55 flat, 55 dead. So we've gotten 16 skill gains, and I played for about, I'd say, an hour, from like 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Yeah, so yeah, so at the moment, that's another thing, like YouTube gives you the different transcoding settings right away. Twitch doesn't from the start, which is why I'm streaming in 720p. Like, I'm actually, my Windows 1080p, all my graphics is 1080p. I would normally stream at 1080p, but I'm specifically downscaling it to 720p for people to not need that much bandwidth. I think if we get affiliate, we get transcoding down from whatever our quality is lower, and we get, I think, access to 4K, which we don't have at the moment. So what I might do is, once I hit affiliate, I might start streaming in 1080p, because then people can switch it down to 144p, 240p. I don't know which options Twitch has. I think 360 might be the lowest one. I'm not sure. Yeah, 240p is usually like the lowest that they go. On 144p, I mean, you're not really seeing anything then. So I don't actually know. I'm not that close, but some of these skills I can get rid of. Like, I'm definitely not supposed to have brawling or bashing. Yeah, but I mean, hopefully it won't always be. I mean, we can hope. This is healing, fabrication. Fabrication will drop pretty soon as well. Lumberjack we can keep for now. We won't keep it indefinitely, but... So this should be all the skills that we kind of actually have. Including fabrication and the things that we end up dropping. As we get close to 600, we'll drop them one by one, starting with things like carpentry, and then fabrication. So the crafting ones we don't need so much because the other character can craft. And then once we need more skills, we can drop things like lumberjacking, because you know the other character can collect wood as well. And then as we get close to the 600 on the actual skills that we want, we'll have to decide where to sacrifice between... we'll keep healing, and we'll keep healing definitely so we can resurrect pets. But I think, like I mentioned to Bella Sky, the thing to probably do is compromise on martial prowess and vigor, because they both supplement, like, they're not skills that give you anything in themselves, they just improve other skills. So having them at 50 will still help those skills. And then we'll have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these two together 6. But we still got quite a bit of headroom. I mean, we dropped a lot of animal lore. We're picking it up, but we still had 20 more than that. So if you look at animal lore, you can see there's like more than 2 bars, so more than 20 points. That should go quickly. So if you add 20 points to this, we're at about 550, so we have 50 points still. So it should be good. And the main thing I've been doing is just trying to get animal lore back up. Luckily, after the other day's stream, I've noticed that, well, I don't know if maybe I was just paying too much attention to it and it made it feel slow. But even though animal lore is climbing, animal taming is going up fairly consistently. And it's going up. I've been taming basically back to what I was taming before, horses and brown bears. And I've been getting a fair amount of gains on both of them. Sometimes I tame the horses straight away, but other times I've had a horse that I've failed to tame like 10 or 12 times, and I got three skill points off of the one horse. So it's definitely still worth taming the horses. But now that we've got our average down again, you'll see we get headstrong bears much more often. I don't know which direction it's going to be. That's up to them to decide. Looks like it's that way. And it's close. So ideally we want the closer ones because that means we have more time, so we can tame all the horses on the way. And with our skill where it is now, horses are actually giving us gains, so it's worth it to tame every horse. Some people would argue that you should also be taming the, I think it's the black wolves. Let's see what the before brown bears is. Black bears start at 39, so they're only slightly below the brown bears, and they're above the horses. Oops. So we want all follow. So I mean, technically we should be taming them, right? The only reason why I haven't been doing it is because I have to do this whole setup where they first attack, and that takes longer. And I found that if you just like speed is the key here. If you go to an area where there's a ton of horses and you just keep taming all the time, the gains per horse isn't so much, but because you get to tame them so frequently, your skill gains go up much more steadily. And I've noticed that as my animal lore has been climbing, horses are starting to become fairly easy to tame. Oh, and now these bears are going to be... One of them needs to attack that one, and one of them needs to attack that one, and one of them needs to attack that one. And the horse isn't going to make it at this point, but... Oh, and there's goblins as well. This is not great. So let's tame this one. The goblins are attacking the bears, so some of them are not going to survive. Yeah, they can fight the rats, that's fine. No! No! Save! Angel, no! I didn't see that the health was getting low. This is getting out of control. I don't know who they're attacking. Okay. Whatever they were attacking is obviously dead, and now they're just taking damage. So attack the shaman. Because he's damaging all of them. They always go for Angel, I don't know why. Poor bear. Yeah, the shamans killed all the other... Oh, now they can go for that one. Oh, they stopped attacking this one. That one needs to survive. I actually need to save all of them because there aren't bears near here, so... What? Oh. I don't even know what's attacking them. It's just a goblin? I think I'm gonna fail this quest now because I don't think there are 5 bears left to tame. Yeah, I failed it now. That's totally not my fault because they spawn the bears right by the... Avert your eyes, I'm taking the meat. You didn't see anything. Nothing bad happened here. It was just a figment of our imaginations. See? Angel's fine. These goblins all just accidentally walked into a tree. We didn't have anything to do with it. Now there's nothing left to tame. Stupid. I think so. This is all open areas, and then that's why this is where they spawn all the things for the quest. But then people put their houses here, and then it doesn't work so well using that area for the quest. It's probably going to be a while until we get enough. Well, if it takes us further away, right? The quests are going to take us further away. Then we should get another brown bear. We only really need one to tank. To tank the bears if we get that quest. If we get any of the other ones, we don't. They're all passive, so it's not even an issue. But we do need the bears for. If we need to go, if we need to fight like a troll or something, right? Because I'd prefer to have the bears fight the troll and get the skill, and get the beast mastery skill up, rather than spending the arrows. Although our beast mastery is high enough that when we get to the next thing, which will be the giant beetle, then we'll have enough beast mastery to tame it already, basically, or to control it. We will need the animal law again though, but our animal law was higher than what it needed to be, so it should gain quickly up to the point that we need it to be. Tame the horse. So I'm assuming the mic audio level is fine. You can hear my voice over the music, and you can hear the music. I turned it down a little bit earlier, so the music might be a little bit too soft now. I think it might have also just been that the music that I was playing was quite loud, like that, you know, the way it's composed. So I might actually be able to turn it up a bit more, because now it sounds soft to me as well. Tame the horse. So like there, okay, I didn't get an animal taming point, but I got 2 or 3 animal lore points. Let's see, where did we put it at? 8. Back up to 12. It's difficult because there's like a volume that you want to have when you're not speaking much, and then there's a volume you want to have when you're speaking more, so that, you know, so that it's not too quiet when you're quiet, but then on the other hand you want people to be able to make out what you say, you know, when you're kind of having a conversation. So I haven't checked how far this is, but I'm guessing it's by the lake. Okay, perfect. People tend to not go out that far, and so there tends to be quite a bit of stuff to tame there. That's fine. Normally I would be disappointed in animal lore because it's less useful than animal taming, but since I need so much of it, I don't actually mind it right now. So I think the mistake I was making before is I stopped taming horses, and you can see like they still give a fair amount of skill. Like now it's giving a lot of lore because the lore is low. But you can see we already got 1 taming point from, what did we tame, like 4 or 5 horses? Oh, come on. Trying to click that. And the thing is, horses tame so easy that it's taming 4 or 5 horses basically means 4 or 5 attempts. Black bears are probably better. The chances of getting a skill point is higher per bear, but it takes longer. So overall, I feel like even if we got the same amount of skill points from 3 bears as we did from 10 horses, I still think taming 10 horses is quicker than taming 3 bears. Rolled 4. You rolled 4 twice in a row. I don't know what the odds are of rolling the same number twice in a row, but it's not high. Maybe there's goblins. Yeah, I don't actually want to mess with them. We need to... Oh, there we go. Why is that there? Do wolves attack us? Wolves aren't too strong, so mainly getting rid of them so that I can tame that brown bear in peace. Yeah, you're suffering from a case of the unlocks. You brought your unluck with you today. Don't walk away when I'm talking to you. Silly bear. Oh, we got an animal taming skill and we got a bear back. That's a good deal. So I see the flag is kind of roughly on the north shore here. So I just want to steer clear of the goblins. Oh, and more brown bears. Horse, brown bear, horse. So this is where I think like not a lot of people come. And so that's why so many of the animals here are untamed. Until I get here, then everything is just released pets. And I think we can... okay, that song is just... okay, so long as the bear wins, I'm not going to interfere there. It looks like the bear will win, so... Oh, okay. So when the headstrong bears defeat something, they run back and they get all their health back. So that's good. So we just needed those bears to survive those goblins, and they would have gone back. So we need one of these to attack one of them. See, when they cluster like that, it's hard to tame them because they all three attack you at the same time. So I think what I'll do is I'll come in from this side and try to tame this one on its own, or maybe those two together. Because now that my animal law is low, my healing actually is a little bit low as well. So yeah, so this is quite useful to see. They fail a lot more. So now you're supposed to get more skill gains on these bears. Like even if you technically don't finish the mission. Can I attack that one? I just want to pull the one towards us, so I can then start taming him. That worked. Who's he gonna attack? No, nobody. He's just faking. There's a horse there as well. Okay, tamed. So these seem to be about roughly roughly what the other brown bears are. So they're not that easy to tame, but like 2 or 3 attempts usually gets them. We don't seem to get too much animal taming skill from them because we've done 3 of them already and we haven't gotten any skill gains. But I guess as animal law is picking up, our average is getting higher and higher, so our gains are slowing down again. I think this will be the last one, and then these ones will disappear. But I think we're not going to head straight back. We're over here already, so I'll do a bit of a loop and see. Oh, good, he ran away. I'll see what the horses and brown bears and stuff are around here. Let's just be careful not to go too far north because we know that dire bear is there and we know that we don't get skill from fighting him, so there's no point in doing it. It could also be that earlier when I started taming, my vitality was full. And maybe the other day when we were testing the stuff out, we stayed out here long enough that our vitality had gone down. And partially I want to try and limit how much I heal, because I feel like the more I heal, the more my animal law goes up, and the more we slow down the animal taming going up. So I think I might do that as well. So like now, like I could heal now, my heal cooldown is gone. But I can heal him more than that with 1 bandage. So normally I would just heal because I'll just start the cooldown again. But it pulling my animal law up is causing fewer gains in animal taming. So I think if I'm going to go through the effort of pulling my animal law down to improve the chances of getting the animal taming up, I should maximize that by not healing it too much. So you can see I can heal about that much at the moment. As my animal law goes up, that amount will increase. So I have to wait until it's about halfway before I heal, just to be efficient with the bandages as well. I don't care about the bandages so much. I have like over 300 and I can get more. The main reason is I want to keep my animal law low until my animal taming is high. So I guess it's going to take me roughly that amount of time for me to get to 60 with animal taming. My animal law will get close to 60 at this, roughly the same time. If I heal and tame as much as possible. So what I want to do is I want to try and have my animal taming be above 60 when my average hits 60. That way, I will have the opposite scenario from what I had before, Well, I couldn't tame things because my average was above it, but my animal taming was below it. Actually, if my theory is correct, the ideal scenario would be to have your animal taming and your animal law even and just above what you need to tame something. So I think the Great Hearts need 59.1. So we want our animal law to get to 59.1 as animal taming gets to 59.1. And actually we're making good ground with animal taming. We're at 57 already. We started at 55 today. You know, we should be able to get there in a few more hours. Which means maybe we can boost animal law as much as possible, because you know, animal law needs like 11 more points, which is 110 more skill gains. Oh, I did tame it. I mean, the best thing for it is these like horses that are everywhere. Because I'm pretty sure they give us a more frequent gain in animal law than in animal taming, because our animal law is low. They tame pretty easy now, so like usually first attempt. But it's fine, we get skill ticks with that first attempt, so you know, it's still worth it. I don't want that brown bear to die. Oh, good, there's more than... Or is it a fox? I don't even know what they drop. Meat. And bad meat at that. Nope. You are not gonna get in the way. I'm gonna get rid of you now. So to help with the animal law, what you can do is, all these bears are basically full health, but they're not exactly full health. They're like at like 99%. But healing them that last bit gains you as much skill as if you did a full heal from almost dead. So you can always just look for the one with the most health and heal it, because they regenerate a little bit of health naturally. And so healing him to full health right before he gets to full health anyway gives you the skill point. I think as soon as we hit 59.1, we'll start doing the same thing, but with Great Hearts as well. And we'll probably then go to an area where there's plenty of Great Hearts, because they'll take long to tame and they'll give us plenty of gains. So one of... oh no, I think they're all full. Trying to hide in with the crowd so that I don't get him. Oh, I tamed him. redemptions here. No. I think it doesn't show me in there, but it shows me in here. So I could obviously check in chat to see what the name is. The thing is, I want to see the actual, when somebody requests a name, I want to see what it is, and this thing just tells me. No, that's not what I wanted to do. That bear's left behind. The song has like a little sound effect on one of the channels, like in the left channel. That sounds a little bit like a duck quacking or like a squeaking sound. I keep wanting to look around to hear what it is. Sneaky musician is sneaky. I think Grey Wolves are... Where's the... Grey Wolves we can do at 53. 53 average, which we should have by now. And that's actually the... That's actually the best thing we can tame. We should be taming all of them. We just have to get Tanky McTankerson to get there. To start the fight. And once he starts, this is going to be a problem because now the Hind is going to fight it. And then the Grey Wolf isn't going to survive. So this is supposed to be hard. But we can do it because our animal taming is above our animal law. So we should have actually been taming this since our average hit that. Because this should give us plenty of gains now. So now the difference between what we had before, this illustrates the problem that I was having. We were doing the exact same thing before when our skills were the other way around. When we had low animal taming and high law, it let us try to tame something, and we were pretty close. So at 53.1, our average is now, if we take 4 off there and add 4 there, right, then that's 53, and this is 53. So our average is just above it, but it's not telling us like we have almost no chance to tame it, even though we actually have almost no chance to tame it because of the average. I am aware that the bear needs to be healed. And not only that, it's giving us gains. You'll see we're getting tons of animal law gain, and we'll obviously eventually get animal taming gains as well. And so this is what I feel should have been happening when we were taming the Defiant Bears. You literally ran out of all your points. I mean, it's just not reasonable for you to carry on. Some more animal law. I don't know why this command is supposed to work. Give Kawaii. Alright, let's give you 250. Oops. So our animal law will go up pretty quick from this because we're gaining it on the healing and we're gaining it on the taming. These grey wolves have actually been around for a while. We should have actually been taming them. So we were. Let me think for a second now. Obviously, our average was high enough long ago. Our animal law was like almost 70, but I don't think our animal taming was at 53. It's okay. I don't think it worked. For some reason, the give command doesn't work. Oh. The wolf is still attacking it. So that was definitely worth it. We got like 2 animal taming skills, I think. Or at least we got a lot of animal law. We went up to 50. So we should definitely be doing grey wolves. And they should be around here. We just have to struggle not to kill them because the bear kills them in like 2 shots. Hey, the losing streak is broken. Once we start having more people in, I'll run raffles. So I'll raffle 1,000 points, and tickets will cost 10 points or something, or 100 points. So obviously, if there's like 5 people here, and everybody buys 1 ticket, you know, they'll end up with more points than we started on. But then, you know, you have better chances of winning. And then later on, as there's more people, I'll make the raffle tickets cheaper, right? I'll make them like 10 points or something. So animal laws is climbing like nobody's business. This is basically the situation that I wanted to have set up for the bears at 60. And this kind of shows you that it works, right? I'm taming it, but normally if my animal law was at like 67, that where it was before, I would tame this and it would get tamed like after 2 or 3 attempts. But now that my animal law is low and the average is really close to it, I can continuously tame it basically. And what I could actually do is I could lock my animal law at 51. Right, so that I can continue to tame grey wolves like this until my animal taming hits 59. And then I can do the same thing with great hearts, right? And so on. But I'm not going to lock this because even though they're going to start to tame faster and faster, I want to get my animal law up to 59 so that when I hit 59 animal taming, that my animal law is also roughly there. And then I can do the same thing with great hearts until well into the 60s, right? And once I get into the 60s, then I can start looking at the thing that I wanted to do way earlier, which was go to the area where the giant beetles are and then get my combat skills and my taming up at the same time. And that'll basically just involve killing beetles until my combat skills kind of cap out. And then once my combat skills cap out, then just taming the beetles and having them fight each other. We got another point somewhere. And like this, we're not really in any danger, right? We're safe over here. The only thing that can really go wrong is we run out of bandages. None of our gear is taking durability damage. And so this is kind of what I was saying yesterday about the reason I don't like that the skills are linked in this way is that you can control it, right? So like what you want to have happen is, okay, because my skills are low, I'm getting lots of gains from this wolf. But because I'm getting gains, my skills should go up, and then this should become less and less effective. Like, I think that's why the check is in place, is that once something becomes easy, you shouldn't, you know, it should become less effective. And increasing your odds of success, trying to tame it, forces you to move on to the next animal. But by keeping your animal lore low, which you can do, you can control the rate of success on taming this, which, you know, gives you a little bit of control over whether you want animal taming to go up or animal lore to go up. So by pushing our animal lore down, you know, we're effectively saying, like, okay, make it hard to tame this animal, so I can tame it over and over again, and then my animal taming goes up. If it did the same thing for I kind of think since this works, they're not necessarily objecting to you doing the same thing to make your animal taming go up when your animal lore is high and your animal taming is low, and therefore your average is where it should be. I think if your average is where it should be, that's what they mean for it to do. I mean, it would make sense if they didn't, but the reason why I believe that they do is because they give you the mission, right? If they wanted it to mean that your animal taming must be what 60 to tame the 60 beasts, they should have looked at your animal taming skill when deciding whether or not to give you the mission, which they definitely don't do. Oh, I tamed it. So I mean, for one wolf, that gave us, I mean, what was that? Almost half a percentage of animal taming and like a whole percentage of animal lore. That was pretty effective. And again, like I said before, if these two were reversed, if animal taming was 52 and animal lore was 57, which we had before, we had animal taming at between like 50 and 52, and our animal lore was at like 60 something. We didn't try to tame the grey wolves, but it would have let us try, and we wouldn't. I think we wouldn't have succeeded. And also we wouldn't have gotten gains. So I guess what we should have done is we should have just brought our animal lore down as soon as we got close to something that we could tame. So we actually had spiders that we could tame at 50. Okay, well, The thing is, once we figured this out and we started to get the gains, we started to get above 50, right? We were at 50 before, so none of these things that we're taming now to test this and to make this go fast, we were able to tame back then. So we couldn't have brought our animal law down to such an extent that it would make it difficult but possible to tame. We could only make it going from impossible to tame to impossible to tame. This is those goblins from before, so I'm trying to get all of them. There should be a third goblin, that one. And I'm going to try to kill that one. The shaman keeps getting out of. So I don't know where they are, but there's somewhere. There's one there. There's one there, and there's one there. So since we came up from the other side, we should have these here. Perfect. Grey wolf is what we want. To make sure he survives that, so one attack. Oh. So you just barely broke the losing streak, and now it's coming back. It's okay, rather get your fix with something that's not gonna mess up your credit record. Is the wolf attacking the bear or not? No, he's attacking the hind. But he is gonna attack us if we get close, so let's just get rid of him. Nope, leave the horse alone, I want to tame it. Picking up. So what's our average at now? 57 and 53. So our average is about 55. So we still need a bit more. It doesn't help if our animal law gets above 59 necessarily. Okay, cool. We got one of each there, so that's good. So now on our weight is 219. Plus some space. We have a well, not anymore, but we used to have a holiday house in like a little seaside town nearby, and we bought the house basically before they redeveloped any of the property, so it was just kind of there was like a resort It's not really. It's kind of like a resort, like a, you know, a hotel or whatever, by the beach next to it. So they built like small houses outside the resort. So we bought one of those. But it was just a normal, like, you know, 3-star kind of place you can stay. You know, it had like, you know, gyms and pools and the beach and whatever. And then after a while, they built a casino there. So we had like a holiday house with a casino right next to it, like 100, like, what's 100 meters? That's like, I don't know, like 60 yards away, 40 yards away, something like that. And we had that house while the casino was there for about, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. And I think in all that time I went to the casino once. Yeah, I think I only went there once. And yeah, I went with like 100 rand, which is about, like, call it not even $10, like $8. And I just started like regular betting, like just, you know, gambling effectively, until I got down to 80 rands, which is like $5. And then I was like, no, I'm not leaving here with less money than I came in with. Oh, they're not attacking the other bandit. And so then I started playing it smart and betting on the things that has the lowest chance. Why are they not attacking? Betting on things that have the lowest chance to lose money. Until I got back up to 120 rand, which is like $12. And then I stopped betting. Why did I not see the raid? Oh, Pottymouth raided me. Hi Pottymouth, you done with your stream now? Did you have a good one? I'm assuming you were playing on, what do you play on, Amber Moon? So there's definitely an issue there, because I heard the notification for the follow but not for the raid, so I have to look at that notification. Oh, you on the cluster? Yeah, it's the US servers are confusing. Is it still separated? So you have to switch between the two, or did they kind of like merge it? Because obviously there was plots in both of them. So what do you do if plots converge? You have to go to a gate and then choose to go to the other one, if I understand it correctly from the blog post. Okay, so it's just basically a way to get their populations a little bit boosted on each of the two servers, because people can, you know, join events and stuff, and travel around a little bit. I mean, I guess you'll still have a problem. It would still feel a little bit empty if the, you know, if either of the worlds, you know, was a little bit empty, they'll still be a little bit empty. You'll just have more people, if that makes sense. Thank you for the raid, Pottymouth. I appreciate it. I know there aren't a lot of people always streaming, so it can be hard to find somebody streaming when you're in. I actually normally check, and I think our times don't match up, so I don't think you're usually streaming when I finish, because I normally finish like an hour and a half after this. Actually, nobody's ever really streaming Legends of Aria when I finish. It messes with your time frame as well. Yeah, for me, this is actually a very inconvenient time. This is like after 10 in the evening until 1 in the morning. But this is literally the only time that I have available in a day. So it's this or nothing. So I'm going with this. We're not, you know, maybe later down the line I can look at doing something different, but oh yeah, that will obviously give you a lot more choices. I'm actually surprised that you find any time to do it when you're stationed on a ship. I'm assuming your whatever it is, docked or on shore leave or whatever it is, if you're able to stream. Hey, at least you have a legitimate excuse for it. I'm usually a zombie and I have no excuse for it. I just stay up too late and wake up too early and do too much. Can't do that yet. Let's loot it so long. So let me actually okay, I have to test this. I haven't actually tried this before. So for those of you who didn't come with the raid, Pottymouth is one of the Legends of Aria ambassadors. So if you really want to know more about the game or the goings on in the community and stuff like that, watch his stream. I'm sure you'll find out a lot more, especially if there's any US viewers who can't play on Crimson Sea, obviously, because, well, I mean, not can't, but wouldn't play on Crimson Sea. You can catch up with Pottymouth and see what they're up to over there. Because I have that problem. My time zone lines up with a lot of US viewers, and then they go, oh, but it's EU. So if you'd like to try out the game and play, but you can't play with me, check out Pottymouth streams, see what they're doing, and if you see, I think you've got the. Did you start the guild, the COM? I see that you have the tag in Discord, so I'm assuming you started the guild, or you were around since the beginning of the guild. Sorry, I don't want to keep you from dinner, so if you need to go, just go. I mean, you ended your stream for a reason, right? So, thanks for popping in. If you can't stay to chat, I understand. Oh, sorry, no, I just mentioned that I saw the COM tag in your name in Discord. I'm assuming you have a guild and you get up to all kinds of stuff there. So, I'm guessing you started the guild. Well, I'm assuming. I guess I shouldn't assume. Yeah. I've kind of... okay, yeah, you just like, oh, I need a guild, let's pick one. Yeah, I've kind of been playing solo, not really gotten too involved with any guilds or anything. Mainly at first because I wasn't sure I was going to keep playing it. But I find that over the past 2 weeks or so that I've been playing this more and more. So I'll probably keep playing it. I guess we'll have to see what comes with the releases. The responses have been pretty mixed. Some people are happy, some people aren't. Personally, I don't have any complaints. I basically started playing after the Steam release, so like that's all I know about the game. I don't have any recollection of how the PvP was, so maybe I don't know what I'm missing. But I don't mind the way it is set up now. I think the main thing is if there's more players, it wouldn't matter as much. Because yes, the PvP area is small. But I think that for the people who want more PvP, that stop playing because there isn't enough PvP, they're kind of making the problem worse. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they do. Hopefully they listen to the community. And I know people are saying they haven't been doing a good job of that, but hopefully if they add, because there's supposed to be more zones, right? What's this? Everybody talks about the tundra, the frozen tundra, or whatever. So if they add new zones and they make them PvP, you know, maybe there's more stuff to do. Sure, no problem. Like I said, you can head out if you need to. Don't want to put you on the spot. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for bringing the viewers. So for everybody who came with the raid, in the last stream, I did some, I guess you can call it theory crafting about taming. I had a theory that there was a bug, and I wanted to try to confirm it. Oh, thanks Sunny D for the follow. That should distract him, and then that should get him. So what we noticed is that the skill checks for, and this gets a little bit technical, but the skill checks for animal taming is based on the combined skill value that you have for animal taming and animal law. And the game lets you try to tame something once your average is above the required skill. So it'll stop saying you have no chance to control that once your average gets high enough. But what I noticed is that if your animal taming is below that amount, so in other words, if your animal law is higher than your animal taming, but your animal taming is below the requirement and the average is above the requirement. So it seems kind of specific. It would let you try and tame it, but you would never ever tame it. You could try like 200 times, it wouldn't. It would never succeed. And also you wouldn't get gains. You wouldn't get gains in animal taming, and you wouldn't get gains in animal law. So I think that's a bug. Because either you shouldn't be able to tame it, and it should tell you it shouldn't be able to tame it, or you should be getting gains in animal taming until it gets to the minimum, and then you should start taming it. So my animal taming was at about 50, and my animal law was at like 67 or something. And so my average was above the 60 that was needed to start the next tier of rancher missions. And so I took them. So up to 40 to 60 gives you the defiant bears, or the bears that look like brown bears basically. And then when you hit the average of 60, it gives you the defiant bears, which is the 60 plus mission. And I got that mission. I found those bears, which obviously have a skill requirement of 60. And even though my average was above 60, I couldn't tame them. I wasn't taming them, and I wasn't gaining skills from them either. So the fact that that mission gets issued to you once your average is above 60 makes me believe that you are actually supposed to be able to tame them. And what I suspected was that the check for whether or not your animal taming skill should increase compares your current animal taming skill against the requirement for the animal, and so that the higher animal taming is, the lower the chance that you gain a skill. But if your animal taming was below the average, so below the skill point of the animal, that check effectively means that you never gain, right? And so that's what's causing the issue, I believe. So to try and prove that that was a thing, and also that the animal taming skill gains isn't based off of the average between the two, but of the animal taming one itself, what I did was I brought my animal law down from 67 all the way to 33. And the reason why I did that was to put my average just above 41, which is what I need to tame the brown bears. And ooh, that troll is going to be a problem. We need to move this way so that it leaves us alone. Oops. That's not what I want. No, wrong button again. Oh, this is going to be a problem. Okay, I'm going to have to attack the troll, otherwise I'm going to have problems. In fact, I'm going to properly attack the troll. So we brought our animal law down, and basically the conclusion that I drew. Ooh, now everything's attacking the same bear. Okay, that worked, I think. The conclusion that I drew is that it does actually... Who is it attacking? I'm not sure anymore. Let's carry on taming it. Oh wow, now you rolled a 1. That's literally, I think, the worst you can roll. When we brought our animal law down, we messed up, and I hadn't noticed that animal laws also needed to command pets. I thought it was only beast mastery, and so when we brought it down, we screwed ourselves, and we couldn't command our bears anymore, and everything just went to hell. And then after that, as our animal law started gaining, hi Oxford, thanks for the follow, good to see you. Our animal taming did actually start to pick up quite fast. So we were at like 50 and we were struggling to get any skills. And in the 3 hours since then, we've basically gotten to 58. Not 3 hours real life time, 3 hours like in-game time. Maybe a little bit more. We had we had half of that stream, which is about 2 hours. And then I played for another hour today and maybe another hour and a half now. So maybe in about 4 or 5 hours, we got 8% points in animal taming, which is much faster than we were before. And the reason why I think much faster is because our average was low. Oh, I think I tamed it. So I need it to get out of the way so I can command it better. And so I'm still not entirely sure if that's a bug or if that's the way it's meant to work. But it's definitely manipulable, right? Because if your animal law is... So having your animal law higher than your animal taming disadvantages you. Because it lets you try to tame things that you can't tame and can't gain points of. And it also gives you missions that you can't complete once you hit the point where it ticks over. So that in itself is not great. You don't want to have a mission come up in the list of 3 that you can't do, because it reduces your chances of getting the ones that are beneficial to you. But also, if you come across animals that the game says you can tame, you end up wasting your time there. So basically, it benefits you to have your animal law at or lower than your animal taming. So that's the one thing I deduced. The other thing I deduced is that sometimes setting your animal law much lower actually helps you get your animal taming up. Now, I would have expected having your animal law high. So if my animal law was at 100, my average would be higher than my animal taming, which should allow me to try to tame more difficult animals. And doing so should bring my animal taming up faster. So having a high animal law functions as a way to pull your animal taming score up, which makes sense, right? Because you have to get your animal law up somehow in the first place, right? So that makes sense. But then having your animal law low actually benefiting you and bringing your animal taming up faster seems counterintuitive. And so I don't necessarily think that that's what was intended. But having your animal law high does give you the freedom to mess around with it. And so I guess in a way having your animal law high does give you a benefit. But it's kind of like a very complicated thing to work all this out and figure out how to optimize how to get your animal taming up. At first, after the first hour or two, I wasn't sure that it was going faster. But after playing for a few hours today, there's not a doubt in my mind. It's worth doing. At first, I thought, I shouldn't have done it. I made this. That was a failure, and now it's going to take me forever to get the skill back. It was definitely worth it because I'm trying to get to like 59.1 or something to tame Great Hearts, or 61 or whatever it is to tame giant beetles. In the time it took me to get from like 52 up to 59, I've gotten back up from like 33 animal law to 55. obviously because I've had it high, the animal law is gaining faster, so that's part of it. But the alternative is if your animal law is going higher than your animal taming, which it usually does. If you're healing your pets the whole time, you know, you're gaining potentially animal law when you tame, so that should keep them kind of side by side. But then with the healing and animal law going up, you almost definitely going to have your animal law higher than your animal taming. And if the animal law goes too far above your animal taming, that average effect comes into play, where it seems to take the average into account when deciding whether or not your animal taming should go up. Or sorry, it doesn't take the average into effect. The average determines how successful you are, and your animal taming goes up much faster in time, not in number of attempts, when you fail a lot, because it means you don't have to move from one animal to the next, and so you actually want to keep your animal law low. Now, I don't know if this is common knowledge. Maybe it's always been like that and everybody knows it, and I just don't, because I'm just figuring this stuff out for the first time. But that's not something I would have expected. I would have expected to get my animal law as high as possible, as soon as possible, because that should be beneficial. But I've found that that's not the best strategy. So what I'll actually do in the future, if my animal law gets more than a percentage or two above my animal taming, I'll actually lock it. I'll stop it from going up. Just so that I fail more and get more attempts, because I don't mind failing more. I care about getting my animal taming skill up, because that one's harder to get up. Animal law goes up fairly easily because it's not capped, right? Animal taming, you need to find an animal with a certain difficulty in order to get your animal taming up to, you know, so many percentage points above it. But animal law goes up from healing, and healing isn't skill based, because you can heal your pets. I mean, you could have a chicken and heal it the whole time, and eventually you'll get to Grandmaster Animal Law. So it's a fair compromise to take longer to get your animal law up, in order to speed up getting your animal taming up. And I don't know if this has always been this way, if this has been introduced somewhere, if they made a change, you know, I don't know any backstory. All I know is, as it stands, that's my advice. I logged a bug request. I reported it. Sorry, a bug report. Explaining what was happening, with a link to a VOD of my stream, where I was standing there with above 60 average animal taming and animal law, but below 60 animal taming, trying to tame the Defiant Bears, and the timer was running down from the 40 minutes down to like 17 or 15 minutes, and I hadn't tamed the first one, until I eventually gave up, and then I went to go find a Great Heart, which had a 59 requirement, so it should be easier, and so I should tame it faster. And I spent the last 17 minutes trying to tame that, and also not succeeding. And I feel that illustrates the problem enough that they can decide if that's intended behavior or not. If it is, then fine. If it's not, then somebody's pointed it out, and they can decide if they need to fix it. You know, they might not see it as high priority, but I think there's two main things in this game that people enjoy. One is mages, just because they do the most damage, and they're the best. As a result, they're the best for high-end content and PvP. And people have been saying that mages have been getting buffs in every point release, and warriors and other classes like bards have been getting nerfs. So obviously there's that's something that they have going for them. And then the other thing that people seem to enjoy is well, actually not so much anymore. Barding. People used to like. Everybody's either a mage or a mage bard or a. Oh, sorry, not barding. Taming. You know, taming is the other thing that people say, like, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating to level and whatever, but it's by design because it gets so powerful in the end. So I feel like if you have something that's working, or not that's working, but something that's like people care about, you should prioritize making it work smoothly. How do you keep rolling 4s and 1s? This is like out of 100. I think the universe is trying to tell you something. Sorry, I actually keep calling you Kawaii. I should be calling you Ryu. Because it actually does not make sense to call you Kawaii. Yeah, I think we've gained too much animal lore now. The horses are succeeding too quickly and giving us too little gains now. But we're basically approaching 59.1. So it looks like it's about on par. Yeah, I think for people it's just like they see the name and that's the first part, so it makes sense to say it, but I mean, if you understand the Japanese, then it doesn't make sense to take the adjective out of a name and use that. Not that I'm a Japanese speaker or anything, I just know a couple of words and enough to be dangerous. I guess it depends on what language you normally speak, because that consonant vowel combination is difficult for some people. The VU. And I guess it's even harder technically in Japanese because the sound that they have for the R letter is in between R and L, and some people, well, most people struggle to say that. It's kind of a little... It's not quite R. So like, I'm Afrikaans, so we have very hard R's in our language. You know, our R's are like R. And some people actually have it's kind of a speech impediment, but it's common enough that it doesn't get treated for most people, where they say their R's very, they roll their R's a lot. So they'll say and it's quite normal. And for people like that, it's trying to say Ryu. It sounds like a stone molesting a rock. So I can imagine, you know, people like that also would go for kawaii. So I was actually just trying to get, my goal for this stream was to get back into roughly where I was, well, not where I was with Animal Law, but back to, you know, kind of on par with animal taming, so that I'm not debilitated by it. Because if we get to the animal taming skill to tame the next thing, and we can't control it because our animal law is too low, that's going to be frustrating. The main thing that we're aiming for is, I guess, around 61 for the beetle. But thinking about it, since the great hearts are going to become available soon, yeah. So Ryu, I mean, I can say it better, but it's like one of those things that like requires concentration. Ryu. But it even varies between Japanese speakers, right? Some Japanese speakers say it almost full on like a L. They'll say L. And others say it a little bit with a harder R. That's like, you know, different dialects. So it's hard to have like a correct pronunciation. So we have, more taming. Taming is excellent. So at 58.6, we need like 59.1. So we might actually get that because we still have like maybe an hour left in the stream. If we hit that, we're definitely going to start taming some great hearts. I don't think they're useful for fighting, so I won't replace the bears with great hearts. I will test it though. I think it's worth setting. Oh, it's already tamed. It's worth setting one bear on a great heart and having them fight each other and see where they end up. But I mean, I think I can sometimes one-shot a great heart with my bow and arrow, which leads me to believe that they're much more fragile than the bears, right? So maybe they do more damage, which I also doubt, but even if they did do more damage, they would be less effective pets because I kind of need them to be damage sponges in order for them to be useful for me when I'm fighting things, because the cooldown on the healing is so long that they need to have more health than I can heal in that time, so that I have like a buffer. And if my arrows one-shot them, it means the other enemies are also going to one-shot them. Yeah, kawaii means cute. Google doesn't say it, the Japanese say it. I don't know what Ryu means though, because it's like one of those things where different characters have different meaning. So it depends which one it is. You wouldn't be able to say what it means unless you see it written out. I don't think. I don't know. Ooh, it's a troll. And one day he'll meet the upgraded version, the internet troll. Yeah, I think Ryu is most commonly dragon. But again, it depends. There's probably other things that's also pronounced Ryu, but it's a different character. Beast Mastery. So I have enough Beast Mastery. So now my Beast Mastery is going to fall behind if I just keep taming. But that's fine. What I'll probably do is when we get around to taming the beetles. Yeah, Ryu is the most common one. You'll see it in things like Street Fighter, for example, the character Ryu, right? Although that's with one U. But yeah, I think it's meant to be a U with a bar over, which makes it the long U. But the way that people write it in Latin characters just varies. So like the common phrase that people always say is the uppercut move that he does is when he says Shoryuken. It's supposed to mean strong dragon punch, so Ryu is in the middle. But that makes you realize how cheesy they named everything, because that means the other main character, Ken, means punch. Which is not the coolest of names. Okay, no, don't kill him. Where are they going? I want to tame it. Oh, I already tamed it. So this seemed to have just like really quickly gotten... Either I was just really lucky in this last two, or this animal law picking up really improved the odds of taming it. Because that's 2 wolves that I tamed in like what was that? 1 attempt? That one was 1 attempt. The previous one was like 2 or 3 attempts. The one before that took like 20 or 30. But sometimes there just is like a string of I wouldn't say bad luck. I guess it's good luck because we want it to fail. It's a whole bunch of goblins that way, so I'm going to not go that way. Because goblins are just going to fill up my inventory with heavy things that I have to sell for almost no gold. And they get in the way of me taming things. Let's just see if there's any cotton plants behind the trees, because it's so hard to see them. Yeah, it must be every time you lose a roll, I get like three extra tame attempts on the current animal. Ooh, there's a grey wolf and a horse, but I want the grey wolf to survive, and I don't think he is. Oh, come on, I'm trying to see. How do I make the grey wolf survive? I don't think I can. Okay. So now who's the wolf gonna attack? Oh, the grey wolf is dead. Okay, never mind. I guess we tame the horse. Um, 19. Well, at least it's better than the 1s and the 4s you were rolling before, but there's a horse we can tame. I need to look for the grey wolves actually there. They're definitely the best thing at the moment to tame. Until we get to Great Hearts, which should be soon. Oh, why do I keep pressing 1 instead of Q? What's TWT? If only it was that easy. Need somebody to blow on the dice. Ooh, there's another troll. Let's see, okay, he's attacking the hind, that's fine. Oh. Oh, this is gonna be problematic. Get away. Okay, so while they deal with... Oh no, I don't want to get stunned while they're doing that. Oh. Yeah, I didn't see it at first, but after you mention it, I can see it. Failed to tame. Now he's attacking the other bear. Sure, why not? You can also help then. Oh, I can't heal yet. Okay, so now I can release that one. Get him. Clicking there when you loot him makes it look like you take the gold out of his nappy. But then again, he doesn't have any other pockets, so where does he keep the gold? This is a question for the ages. Great Heart, oh, the bandits. Oh, he's been killing them. Okay, that's fine, that's perfect. Kill the bandits. Go for it. He's been killing everything. You can get the chest, that's cool. He's probably gonna get the cotton as well that's there. If he doesn't grab the cotton, I will. We need that for bandages. Building up a fair amount of cotton doing this, like just running around taming things and picking up all the cotton that you see. It's giving us like over 15,000 bolts of cloth, and I mean that's just getting our taming to where it is now. Did you get the cotton? Didn't. I'm pretty sure we can't do grizzly bears yet. We need like I think 65 or something for that. Well, that's like in the next category, like maybe 70 and up. So here's plenty of stuff to tame. Horse, bear, horse. We're almost there. We're 58.9. Once we get to 59.1, it's just animal law and then we got it. And great hearts are... they're in specific areas, but there's plenty of them where they are. And oh, he's going back. Oh, 59. Did he drop something there? What's he doing? Okay, I tamed it, so it gave us some law. What's next? Horse. Let me just check how... I've been constantly putting it here, and I didn't realize it doesn't show on stream. So, we want strength to go up. Constitution to go up, everything else can go down. We're not really getting much of that at the moment, so things aren't moving too much. But we don't want will to go too low. So once this hits 15, we'll stop. Wisdom we want at about 25. Agility we want to stop at 35, and the rest must go to strength and constitution. So this is like a wall, right? Edge of the map. When you see trees like this on a mini-map, it usually means end of the map. Oh, and this. Oh, they were fighting liches. Bone Magi. So that's why he's leaving his pets here. So you can fill them up with loot. Somebody try to come and do the same thing with grizzlies. That didn't work. They're in groups, so I'm just thinking there's going to be a point of interest here, and I just want to pick up the point of interest. But I don't want to like fight them and get stunned and all that, so I don't know if this is going to work, but nope, no point of interest. Okay. I'm not going to get in there and get stuck. Getting stuck is not... Hey! What's he doing? Oh, invulnerable. You can't be invulnerable, that's not fair. Let's switch to, like, I don't know, a weapon. What do they give you? Coins, mushrooms, ginseng. So, reagents. It wasn't that hard. I'm guessing it's another story if there's like 3 of them. They're all attacking you. There we go, discover destroyed town. So that's basically all I wanted. I just wanted to show up on my map if I need to. At some point, go and find them again. I also found there's a... where was it? Down here somewhere. How do I... This Haunted Ruins also has stuff. Oh, what? Oh, there it is. Grey Wolf is perfect. We want the Grey Wolf. Let's have you attack the Grey Wolf, and then once you do, change your mind, and then make sure that we have the crook. I am not a crook, but I carry a crook. So we need to hit 59.1, which we have. Cool. So now we've got the animal taming for Great Heart. We just have to get the animal law back, which should go quick because we can just heal for that. Tame and heal and heal and tame. More animal law, yes. And in the process, we'll be actually increasing our animal taming too. So for every point that we're short on animal law, we can just get animal taming. And that should be fine. As you can see how much faster the animal law is going compared to the animal taming because we've had it up before. Tame and heal. 58.1. So we're 1 percentage point away. Release. Streamlabs is pulling me. Yeah, I mean, you know that, like, obviously, if you're not gambling and you're just watching, then you're winning. You're gaining points. So it's like a gamble with a 100% win rate. Just saying. Not telling you what to do or anything. You the boss of you. Oh, saved. I've noticed that horses are not doing so great for us anymore. So we basically... Oh, there's a grey wolf. That's exactly what I mean. So we can do grey wolves now. But like horses have stopped helping. So it's almost like there's a cycle where you gain an extra creature that you can effectively tame for gains at the top end, and then you have a creature drop off at the bottom end. So like grey wolves have been added for us when we hit 50, whatever it was, 53. But then horses fell off on the other side. But pretty soon we'll get great hearts as well. So then we'll have brown bears, grey wolves, and great hearts. But actually, I suspect that the brown bears are going to start to give lower gains as well. So we might as well not bother with them and focus on grey wolves and great hearts. So what we'll do is we'll go to areas where there are grey wolves and great hearts, like this, and we'll tame a brown bear if we see one, but there should be less of them. Basically, anything that gives us gains, we're gonna tame, because if it gives us less gains, it means we're gonna tame it fast, which means it's not gonna. I don't know what it does after it's done attacking that thing. It looks like it's running straight for me, but then it turns around. Just keep an eye on how many bandages I have. Still have 200. So this all started with me taking a taming mission out here and just taming everything along the way. And I just never ran out of things to tame. So I don't know what it did. It ran all the way up to me, like right next to me, and didn't attack me and then ran back. So we've got 59.3 and 58.7, so we're at 59 average at the moment. We need to be at 59.1, which means we need to gain 2 more points. So 3 and 7, we need these two, the 3 and the 7 added together to be 12. And we might get that from this grey wolf, or maybe even from the next one. There's one animal law. And there's another one, so should be there now. So I'll tame this grey wolf, this grey wolf. There was a great heart here, but it died. So we'll find the next great heart, and then try to tame it. And see if we've gotten past that point now. But the math checks out. We should be able to tame them now. It should be really hard. So once we find one, we should be able to try taming it for a long time. But that's great. It means our gains are going to jump for a while. They're going to, start getting gains more frequent until one or either of these climbs a bit. And it'll probably be animal law that climbs more than animal taming, but it's fine, doesn't bother us. If it gets too far ahead, like I said, I'll just cap it again. think there's going to be a gap somewhere when we get to like I think the Beatles will give us gains for a while, so from 61 maybe to 70 or so. The first half of that increase might be okay, but I think the latter half of the like 65 to 70 is going to go slow. I don't know if there's something at 70 that's going to increase the chances, but at least the 60 to 70 should go okay, because we have the Beatles are passive, so like you can kind of find them and tame them. They're not like the Grey Wolves here where we have to do this funky attack it with a pet and like then disable the pet. Okay, so once he starts attacking it, we can start taming it. Oh, there's another Grey Wolf. So it looks like we're going to do a couple of Grey Wolves before we can try a Great Heart. That doesn't bother me. Oh, I tamed it. Grey Wolves should be going quicker as we progress in skills, so shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I think today isn't your day. Oh. Yeah, so now that the Grey Wolves seem to be going fairly fast, but I think that's just luck. Yeah, I think what you should do is, like, if you're having a bad day, just like let your balance build up for a bit. Oh, here's a Great Heart. We can test it. Now, okay. First thing is... okay, so now we should see if we're like right where it needs to be. It should say you have almost no chance of taming this creature. Exactly right. But we got animal law skill from taming. That wasn't from healing, that was from taming. So definitely once your animal taming is over the minimum for the animal, you start to gain animal taming. You can't gain animal taming until you at least have the minimum. Yeah, I think the best way to pass is to bet the amount, like half the amount that you would need to pass, and then you get one chance basically. Either do it or you don't, because then if you fail, you're so far behind that you can't reliably catch up again. Or you can keep betting more and more. So if you need 1,000, you need to bet 500, and if you fail that, you'll have 500 less. So then you need 1,500. So then you have to bet 750, and you have to keep betting larger and larger amounts until you win. And the problem is that you have to have a big enough balance that you win one before you run out of money. Otherwise you end up losing everything, right? So I mean, this is the problem with a lot of business and deals and whatever, is that if one person has access to much more capital, they can just keep betting until they end up winning, and then they stop betting. Right? If you're the party with less capital, you, even though it's probability based, you're always going to end up losing, because the other person is able to manipulate the circumstances enough to play in their favor. And so I would say, to guarantee that you can surpass somebody else, you basically have to be quite close to their balance in the grand scheme of things. So like if somebody had 100,000 points and you had 95,000 points, you could probably do it. You know, you could bet larger and larger amounts until you win. Every time betting as much as you need to have more than them. But of course, once you've done that, they can do the same thing. Like I said, it really isn't your day. Oh, why is the chat in the wrong spot? Let me fix it. It annoys me that I keep having to change this. I changed this at the start of the stream. Actually, it is changed to bottom right. Yeah, it is. Why is it showing on the top right? So you can see how nice this is. This is like the ideal scenario. My average is just above the required for this animal, and I'm not taming it, so I can just stay here and tame it over and over again, and I'm getting gains in animal taming and animal law. It's kind of staying even. In fact, yeah, I guess animal law is catching up because of the because I had it higher before, so its gains come faster. But like this, we should be able to get to the beetles, whatever the requirement is. I don't know if it's 61 or 63. I think it's just over 60, but I think I worked it out that like you know, I wasn't gonna try it until 61. But I also had this issue when I started trying to tame brown bears. I encountered the same issue where I had the average that I needed, and I tried to tame it and it just wouldn't work. And I spent like, I don't know, I wasted maybe an hour or two trying all different things and nothing would work, and I just gave up on it, started taming other things, and eventually came back to it, and then it was working. So I was just like, oh, okay, maybe they got the numbers wrong on the wiki. But I'm now convinced the numbers are right, because they say on the wiki, they say it's roughly that. And when I spoke to somebody about it, and I also said I had an average of 41.1 or whatever it is, and it said I had almost no chance, but I tried taming it like 100 times and it wouldn't tame. And they said, yeah, the numbers on the wiki are approximate, they're not exact. But I think the reason why people think it's approximate and not exact is because of this bug, where when the animal taming is low, it has different behavior than if the animal law is the lower of the two numbers. So I might actually go to the wiki and add that in there just to clarify it for other people as well. So we needed like 59.1, we got to like 59.405, and now on this one animal we got like half a percentage. And animal law also surpassed animal taming. We got like, I think maybe over a percentage on this one animal. It wouldn't surprise me if this great heart is the one animal in this game that we gain the most skill off of one animal. I don't even think when I trained to 30 and I started taming the first horse, I don't even think I got this much skill off that first horse. And that was because that was 29.1 required and I had 30. So this was 59.1 required and I had 59.3 or 59.4. So the failure rate is so high that I actually get a lot of skill gains. And I could maximize this, right? If I lock my animal law now, so that it stays low, I'll keep on failing until my animal taming gets so high that I start to succeed. Which could be advantageous, right? If you want to, like I said, animal taming is harder to get up. If you do that, you'll be benefiting yourself to get your animal taming up, and then you can always get your animal law up later. And it's great because you don't have to go anywhere. Like, you know, part of the problem is like waiting for animals to respawn so that you can tame them again. If you don't tame them, you don't have to wait for them to respawn, so you can just do it. Like, if I locked my animal law I guess I could lock it at like 59. I don't really want to lose skill again, but if you did lock it, once you have the animal taming required for it, and you lock the animal law below that, your animal taming will increase a lot more per animal because of all the failures. And once you start to get animal taming at, like, let's say whatever we need for the next animal, 61 or 63, or maybe even if it was higher, if it was 65 or whatever, right? Then you unlock animal law, and then you get it to start catching up. And then while you tame things, animal law will catch up. Obviously the animal taming will also pick up a little bit, so at some point your average will be where it needs to be for the next thing, but your animal taming will be high, and you know, then you'll have animal taming gains again on the new animal, and so on and so forth, and that'll push it up all the way. And that stops you from having the gap. Usually happens where it slows down is, let's say animal taming, great hearts at 59, they're easy to tame, so now we could be taming them for a long time, right? But as we get to like you know, 67, 68, you know, maybe at the point where great hearts tame really easily, we're going to stop getting gains from them, and maybe the next animal that's easy to tame is at like 75 or something, and then we have that 6-point dip that's really hard to gain from 68 to 75. But if you start off locking your animal law, getting your animal taming up to like 65, 67, then unlocking your animal law, in the time that you get your animal law up to 67, your animal taming might be above 70. So then you only have to grind from like 71 to 75 instead of from 68 to 75. And so, I mean, you have to do all the taming to get the animal taming to 100, right? There's a certain number of tames that you have to do. But what you're effectively doing is you're controlling how difficult something is at specific times, which makes the progression a little bit smoother rather than be fast and then slow for a while, and then fast for a short while and slow for a long while. You kind of make it fast for a little bit longer and slower for a little bit shorter. Like, this is great. Like, an average player would see this and fail and go, oh, you know, this is terrible, I'm not going to tame this anymore because it's just failing. If this thing failed all the way to whatever the maximum is, I couldn't be happier. Let's see, how high can Great Arts take us? So they say from 59.1 to 71.1 you should be taming Great Hearts and Grizzly Bears. With Grizzly Bears you can only start taming at 65. Okay, so yeah, so that is an option. It's in the PvP zone. I don't actually know how dangerous the PvP zones are. I mean, I don't really have anything to lose. I mean, the gear that I have spares of, or I made myself. It's like 1,000 gold for the bear. Yeah, this is all bone armor that just dropped from the graveyard. So we can really afford to lose it. Well, they'll obviously kill all our pets, but yeah, I mean, bears are dead easy to tame now. We'll be going there basically once we have enough taming to tame the... Oh, there, I tamed it. So I went from like 59 odd to 60.1, so like a whole percentage point in animal taming and like almost 2 percentage points in animal law. And obviously the next one won't give us that many gains, but... So I'm going to try this horse, but my guess is it's going to tame on the first attempt now. I think horses have basically become trivial. Because from 29, if you add 25, it's not 60, right? I think from about 55 onwards, the horses have been trivial. So I don't think we can tame horses anymore. We have to tame... I think brown bears we can still do. Let's see. Can also tame coyotes at 65, which we don't need. So brown bears are from 41. So if we add 25, that goes to like 60 something. So brown bears should still give us something. So I think brown bears are like what the horses were before. They give us very little gains and it's slow, but it's something, and there's probably more of them than there are grey wolves. So I don't even know where I am on the map at the moment. But we're quite far here. We can kind of take the road back and see what we see on the way, because now we can tame the great hearts. And we probably went past a bunch of them and didn't tame them. Like that one. Oh, the other thing I should have done before I let it go was test it against a bear. So I'll tame this one and then I'll let them fight. Because if they are better, I'll use them. But I doubt it. And because these are passive, so this is another benefit of taming great hearts at the skill level. Because they're passive, I don't have to do the tanking thing, which means I'm not healing my pet in order to tame it, which means I'm not getting animal law from that, which means they're going up more evenly, which means the average is going to be average is going to be lower when the animal taming hits the target that I need, which means the next thing that I tame is going to be as good for taming as this is now. If that makes any sense. Yeah, we can do Great Heart versus Angel if you're willing to put Angel on the line. So long as you don't blame me if it goes south. I'll tell you what, the deal is if the Great Heart beats Angel, then the Great Heart becomes Angel. That seems fair. The buck is more kawaii than the bear anyway. actually just looks like the same model as the hind, just made bigger. If I know how game developers think, that's the kind of thing they do. Reuse the model and resize it. It's already like... It's already walking around here like it wants to be part of the pack. So I happily ignore that message that says you have almost no chance of taming it, because I don't care about the white messages, I care about the blue ones. And there's plenty of blue ones. Oh, we tamed it, okay. So now I think to make it fair, okay, let's put it like this. We need to give them enough space, because I have to tell the one to attack the other one and that one to attack the other one as well. And so they need to be far enough away that I have time to tell both of them what to do. So let me just put this in somewhere where I can put a command on it. So 5. Okay, so now they both start attacking each other at the same time. Oh, yeah, you can see. Yeah, we won't be replacing the bears with great hearts. Let's quickly loot that. I don't want the seeds. Okay, so we're definitely not using them as our combat pets. We're basically just using them because they're skittish. So animal law's at 62 already. Oh, you're moving too far. So I think our average is already where we need it to be for the beetles, but actually if it goes at this rate, we don't have to go to the PvP area to do that. If we get this up to, what was it, 65? At 65 we get coyotes. Oh, so we can tame grizzly bears already. So we should be taming, rather than brown bears and, well, we're taming brown bears and grey wolves and now great hearts. We should be taming grey wolves, great hearts and grizzly bears. With right now great hearts and grizzly bears being the focus. But I think if we get grey wolves or black wolves, we can tame them as well. And then black wolves and grey wolves at 53. So yeah, that should still be giving us decent gains. But again, the great hearts is really the focus because they're passive. So they're going to be by far the best. The grizzly bears, if they're at about the same skill level, they'll also be good because we can also tame them for long like this. But they're not passive, so it takes a little bit more setup. But it would actually be good if we were trying to get animal law. Grizzly bears would be better because we would get animal lore from healing. But we're actually specifically not trying to get too much extra animal lore, because we want our animal taming to get to the thing quicker. So I'm not going to go so far as to lock animal lore down to help taming along, but I'm going to try to avoid taming things that where I need to heal so that I get more animal lore. I think that's going to be an acceptable compromise. Because I think the animal lore is exceeding the animal taming by so much now, because it's been high before. So if we look at the... let's look at how far did it get before. So it got to like 67, 68, like just short of 70. So that's what's still going fast. But it'll bottom out after it hits 67 or 68 again, and then I won't say animal taming will catch up. Probably won't catch up. But then we don't have to worry so much about mitigating the animal lore going up. Main thing is, if the animal lore going up would allow us to tame the next thing up, it would be very helpful, but it actually doesn't. It just makes oh, so close. 46. It actually just makes the animal taming go up slower. Yeah, I feel like it's just gonna remind you every time you do. It's just gonna remind you that it doesn't want to. So I think it's quite cleverly designed, because, I mean, obviously the point is, Twitch tracks chat metrics. So they kind of decide whether or not you're a good streamer for the platform by looking at how people interact in your chat. So if people are like asking you questions and doing stuff, they go, "Oh, this is a streamer that, you know, people like to interact with, and so, you know, we'll promote him more often. We'll do all that kind of stuff." And obviously some extension developer or some developer figured this out, and they're like, okay, how do we get... Actually, probably it was just because of the affiliate requirements or something. They were like, oh, people need to... what's one of the achievements or whatever on Twitch itself is like having so many people chat at the same time. And they're like, okay, how can I get people to chat at the same time? Oh, that's easy. I'll just give them something to do in chat. So they wrote the bot and the thing, and they're like, okay, this works. So I mean, it's clearly exploitation of that. But I mean, if people enjoy it and it's not causing them harm, like if people were actually paying like bits or anything like that, you know, like anything that was real money, I would never turn it on. I would never include it in my stream. And there is actually a slight danger with this, because although that you earn the points, like you can just watch the stream or follow or whatever to get the points, that's fine. But when people do donate or subscribe or whatever, you know, I also give them points, because, you know, they're giving money. The idea is not for them to spend money to get the points, but you know, in some cases they will have actually spent money and then gotten points. So, you know, obviously right now they can't, because I'm not affiliate, so they don't bits and subs and stuff isn't a thing. But as soon as I do hit affiliate, I'm going to keep an eye on that, because if it does seem like people are spending money and getting points, and then, you know, gambling them and losing, you know, then I might change some of the rules around it so that it's like when you win more, you know, or something like that. That's a healthy reaction to have. Tempted to gamble all, but you don't want to lose everything. That feeling that's there that makes you not want to lose everything is how humans survived for I don't know how many millennia. That is a healthy instinct. Be glad you have it. Some people don't. So there's a slight irony with this, because like taming this great heart here is much more boring. I'm not moving around, I'm not doing anything, but it's so much more rewarding. Like, I'm getting like whole points of animal lore in a short time. I'm getting plenty of ticks of animal taming. So unfortunately, as boring as this is, I'm definitely going to do it now, because I won't be able to later. Once my skill goes up and I tame them quickly, I'm going to have to move from animal to animal. So oh, that's weird. I just noticed in my notifications that sometimes the usernames are in all lowercase and sometimes it's capitalized the way it's meant to be. I don't know why they do that. A lot of things does that. So say for example, if you look back in the chat log, if you still can see it, when you dueled me, you used my username in all lowercase, which is fine. Then Streamlabs responded with all lowercase, the way you typed it, and then your username the way it picks it up. And then I accepted, and then it used my username in all caps. So somewhere between where it used the username you gave, it looked up what my actual username is and then started using that. Like, that seems so inconsistent to me. If it's gonna have to look up my username to check that it's valid anyway, do it before it responds and then use the valid username, not what the person typed. But it happens. I mean, this is obviously the Streamlabs chatbot, which is implemented by Streamlabs. But there's a lot of places in Twitch itself where it does the same thing. Okay, so that one is tamed. We can release it again. So that one finally got tamed, but there's another one right here. There's two right here. Oh, we're gonna be taming forever. I can't tame forever though. I do need to work tomorrow. Chicken, you're in the way. You don't want to be, it might be turned into food. So this is how you know my beast mastery skill is high. The 4 bears are standing there and there's a chicken right next to it and they're just like, no, we're not going to eat it. The master didn't tell us we can eat it, so we won't eat it. Elite self-control skills. Also, they don't attack like... Well, I guess the brown bears don't attack things in general, but... all the other bears, like attack the horses and the chickens and everything. So I think we'll do these two great hearts, depending on how long it takes, and then we'll just hearth back to town. I don't know what I have in these bags. Probably some stuff that I need to sell. Yeah. Like a shovel and armor and things. So one thing we haven't been doing a lot of lately is gather gold. Which is something we kind of need a lot of. Oh, now all of a sudden I'm running out of oxygen. But my thinking was, if we can get our taming up to like the threshold for the next set of combat things, we can go and up all our skills together. And wherever we do that, we should probably make more gold than we're making at the graveyard. I mean, I probably think those bone magi that we had there, I think there's a couple of other places where there are bone magi like that. We can probably manage that. And that, if they drop gold, that's great because we can just collect the gold. And the reagents that they drop we can hold on to, because we can hand them over to the mage, to our mage character. And the main thing with the mage characters is that when you start off, if they don't have reagents, and it ends up being quite expensive for them to like grind. So if we start with a stockpile of reagents, it means you know, we can earn some gold for a while before we have to start spending gold, and that, you know, that's obviously going to help us. But I mean, you could argue if people are buying reagents and we're collecting reagents from the bone magi, we might as well sell them and then we get gold, and you know, just as we would normally have to buy the reagents to make gold, we can make the gold without reagents and everything. I'm telling you, it's like whatever this date is an unlucky date. It's Thursday the 26th. That's like Friday the 13th combined. I think you're having doubly bad luck today. I mean, you started on like, well, I don't know if you started over 3,000, but you were definitely at over 3,000 at some point. Oh yeah, actually I just realized it just became the 26th for me. Yeah, and even before it was the 26th for me, you were having bad luck, so maybe you need to wait like another, what's it, 5 hours? Or 7 hours or something? Maybe the 26th will be luckier for you. Oh wow. That coffee I had at 9 o'clock has obviously decided to wear off now. Okay, I'm supposed to end at 1. But what? Oh, you got stuck in the tree. They always get stuck in the tree. Silly Baloo. I think either way I'm gonna tame both of these great hearts because they're right here. Even if I have to run over. Because you can actually see the animal law is going up, like it's at 65 already. So, I mean, even if animal taming doesn't go up as much as it could. Actually, I was just going to say. I'm going to lock it at 65. No, I'm not going to lock it at 65. Oh, you managed to come back. Yeah, this is Usually 12:30 I would end. Lately I've been pushing it to 1. Just, I don't know, because I'm an idiot. So this is where I would normally end, but I've committed to taming both of these great hearts because I'm starting to have success. When we got to once we hit 59 on animal taming, where we could tame great hearts, things kicked off, and yeah, we started getting crazy gains. Because once your average is just above what you need, like the fact that it keeps failing, it gives you so many chances to improve your skill, that rather than run around looking for more things to tame, you just end up taming non-stop. And so what I was saying is that that's the benefit of actually locking your animal law to keep it low, so that you can keep that roll going for much longer, and obviously pass all those skill gains onto animal taming instead of animal law, because the reason you want that is you can increase animal law anywhere, and animal taming you need to find the animals for, so rather gain the animal taming as much as you can. Yeah, but so that's the thing, right? Since December, I bet there's probably been changes to how things have worked. Yeah, I think so. When I started taming, I didn't understand the system. I didn't know what the calculations were. I didn't know what the values were, and I was just like taming things, right? I was just like, oh, horses. I guess I'll tame horses. Taming horses work. Taming other things doesn't. So I'll just stick to horses. And then you read the wiki a little bit more, and you figure out what the values are, and so on. And then usually what makes it click for me is you read the guide. You read what people say, this is what you should be taming. And then I'm a highly analytical person, so I read that and I go, okay, why do you start taming this at this skill level? Why do you stop taming it at this skill level? Right? Is it, like if you're crafting, for example, like, is it better to craft something with a lower skill requirement that uses 2 resources, or something with a higher skill requirement that uses 3 resources? Like, at what point, where's the threshold where if it uses more resources, it's less resource efficient overall, to the point where even if it uses more resources and gives you if it uses less resources but gives you fewer skill gains, at which point are you getting more skill gains per resource than the other one? So that's the really tricky. Like, if you can figure those things out, I won't say it's not boring, but it's less boring. But I think that, the key to enjoying a game like this is firstly to decide how much time you have available, because one of the key things is I'm really enjoying this game because I have a crafter, like I have a pure crafter, I have a tamer archer, and I have a mage, and I play with the one until I wouldn't say I get fed up or bored, but until I feel like something different. And then I play with the other one, one of the other ones, and then when I, again, when I feel like something different, I switch back. But you don't want to have, like, you don't want to fill all your character slots just for the sake of filling them. So I didn't create 4 characters right at the start, even though I had 4 character slots, because I didn't know what I was going to put in that 4th slot, and I barely play with the character in the 3rd slot anyway, so technically I could probably make do with just the other 2, but I just have the mage in case, just because of how strong they are at the moment, and it's going to be useful at some point, so I made him. But then to just, you know, play with what you feel like. And if you end up not enjoying a certain character too much and you barely ever play with them, then you just leave them there. You know, if they have low skill or whatever, it doesn't really matter. If you need them for something, obviously they're probably not going to have the skill required to do the thing. But sometimes it's useful to have like a utility character that, you know, you only really play with when you need to form a group and somebody needs that character, or, you know, something like that. And that's basically what my mage will be. My mage will be like when somebody needs help with something and the mage is the best at killing things and is going to be the most useful to take along. That's when I'll use him. And of course, in order to get him there, I'll have to like skill him up, so I'll have to play with him at some point. But the more people need me to help them with things, the more I'll play with him, and the more powerful he'll become, or the more useful he'll become, if I can put it that way. Frankly, in a lot of cases, if somebody says I need help and I need somebody to help, you know, CC or do damage to things, I'll probably just bring my ranger instead, right? I mean, you're still helping. Like, even if a mage does more damage or whatever, me saying I'll come along is already getting them closer to their goal. If they have to bring another person because I'm not a mage, then they have to bring another person. It won't benefit them to say, no, I don't want your help because I only want one person to come along. Like, I guess if they were splitting the spoils and you want fewer people to get a larger cut or whatever, then that might be a concern. But you could always make it like, if they don't find somebody else to also help, then you can say, okay, well then I'll come with my mage. But again, chances are then you won't use him often enough for him to be as useful as he would need to be for you to use him often enough. So it's a catch-22. So this is good. This is 59. Roughly 59. We've gotten 66 animal law and 61 animal taming. So that's, what's that? Between 63 and 64 average. So it's already 4 points up. I think it, I've already tamed it. I think up until 5 points above the thing it says you have hardly any chance. So that means that it'll keep climbing for quite a while. I think this should keep climbing until like 71 or something. So it's going to go slower now because animal law is so high, but what we can always do if we need to is when animal law gets back up to 70 is we can just pull it back down to 60 and then let it gain again. Because it's going to do the same thing. It's going to gain faster than the animal taming, and then we're going to be back where we were. Okay. So we can see how much faster the second and third and fourth and then fifth Great Heart tamed than the previous ones. Why can't I? Oh, I have to do this. Into music. I believe the bard gets like more skill when you listen to the music or something. So I tend to just do that whenever I see them. Okay, so let's have a look. I think that's pretty much where I'm gonna call the stream. I'm just trying to see. There's a very small chance that anybody's going to be doing anything. Yeah, I think the best I can do. Oh, okay. Lucifer started streaming. So, since we had a bunch of people come from Pottymouth stream, I'll go over for a raid there. So hopefully, if you guys feel like carry on watching Legends of Aria, you can hang on to the raid, and we'll go raid Lucifer. And then I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a Minecraft stream. Either Minecraft or Legends of Aria, we'll see. So the same time as this, 3 hours earlier is when I normally start, if anybody feels like popping in again. Obviously, if Pottymouth is going to be live, we'll probably mostly be there, but otherwise it's an option to come here. On my exit screen, I'll have my Twitter details and everything. I tweet when I start streaming as well. So yeah, Kawhi, maybe tomorrow you can try gambling again. So if you want to, just hold on, and if you're on Twitch, we'll go and raid Lucifer. Thanks for hanging around, everybody. It was great to have you. Thank you for those who followed and for the raids and hosts. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So hang on for the raid, and we'll go over in a second. Oh, okay. Lucifer has disabled raids to his channel, so unfortunately we can't raid him, but I'll try to host him.